green room with Jonathan. So what is it exactly that you do?
So I am doing a PhD in cancer research.
And what are you looking at?
So basically what I do is I'm a statistician and I deal with large data sets to do with cancer.
And is that what you're talking about in your set tonight?
So in my set tonight I'm talking about a minor disaster that happened when I went into the lab and started trying to do some experiments myself.
And what did you find challenging about trying to make people laugh whilst talking about science?
Everything. It's something I've always wanted to have a go at. I've done lots of improvised comedy before and I just wanted to give it a go. But I worked down the corridor from Andy Holding, who runs the Sprite Club, and he persuaded me into doing it, shall we say. Yes, my name is Jonathan. I am a statistician. There we go. Well, we seem to have more statisticians than we had before. It's interesting. Yes, well, I know what you're thinking, Jonathan. You cannot be a statistician. You seem far too socially well adjusted. And the reason is because I like to study real-world data from biology. Now, for example, all of you are made up of trillions of cells, and each one of those cells contains 1.5 gigabytes of genetic data, which is about the capacity of a DVD. There are some exceptions, so sperm cells, for example, have about half that. So if you do the maths, and unfortunately I find that I can't stop myself from doing the maths, there are 400 million sperm in the average male happy moment. And that makes approximately 300 gigabytes of data transferred. Now, my colleagues at work advise me that I should back up my data regularly. Problem is that I worry that my shower will start backing up as well. So I would advise off-site backups myself. Well, that's the highbrow stuff out of the way. So, yes, well, as you may have noticed, we live in the future. And that means that we can download all of these genetic data from the cells onto a hard drive. And we do that with DNA sequencers. Now, sequencing produces vast amounts of data. And much like a Crimean referendum, 96% of it is bullshit. And my job is to wade through the bullshit, swim down, and find the truth, the nuggets of truth at the bottom of the septic tank. Now, statisticians and biologists, they don't get on brilliantly, to be honest. They're kind of like the Tories and the Lib Dems. But we are forced to work with each other, like the Tories and the Lib Dems. But when we get good results, we share the credit equally. So I was interviewing for my current position in Addenbrooke's Hospital, and the boss leaned over the table towards me and said, "Jonathan, this is a cancer research institute. We do lots of very important science here into how cells regulate their growth, how they keep that checked so it doesn't go out of control. You can come work for us, but you have to go into the lab and do some biology." So that's how I became a biologist. The nightmare of every statistician. I sat at the bench in a sea of self-loathing, pity, and expensive pipettes. So my first task was to take a petri dish of horrible disease, and for some reason make more of it. So having created all these cells and then attacked them with toxic chemicals, finally, after weeks and weeks of hard work, we could put these cells into the sequencer and find out what was going on. These human cells into the sequencer. And the sequencer came back. "Beep, your samples contain 5% human cells, 45% E. coli, 50% mouse." What I learnt was many things from my experience in the lab. I learnt that experiments always go wrong. That's what I learnt. And, basically, from now on I think I'm going to stick to the data analyst side of things and leave the data generation to the experts. All right, thank you very much.